runs the Vagina Workshop asked us all to draw a picture of her own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina. That's what she called it. She wanted to know what our own unique, beautiful, fabulous vagina looked like to us. One woman who was pregnant drew a big red mouth screaming with coins spilling out. Another, very skinny woman, drew a sort of large serving plate with a kind of Devonshire pattern on it. I drew a big black dot with little squiggly lines around it. The black dot was equal to a black hole in space, and the squiggly lines were just your basic people or atoms or things that got lost there. I'd always thought of my vagina as a sort of anatomical vacuum, randomly sucking up particles and atoms from the surrounding environments. I'd always perceived my vagina as a sort of independent entity, spinning round like a star in its own galaxy, eventually either burning itself up with its own gaseous energy or exploding and splitting into thousands of other smaller vaginas, all of them then spinning round in their own galaxies. I did not think of my vagina in practical or biological terms. I did not, for example, see it as something that was a part of me or belonged to me, between my legs, attached to me. Then, the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked us all to take out our hand mirrors and to examine our vaginas. Then, after careful examination, we were to verbally report to the group what we saw. Now, I must tell you that up until this point, everything I knew about my vagina was based on hearsay or invention. I'd never really seen the thing. It had never occurred to me to look at it. My vagina existed for me on some abstract plane in its own galaxy. It seemed so awkward and reductive the way we did it in the workshop, getting down there on our shiny pink mats with our hand mirrors. I felt like how the early astronomers must have felt with their primitive telescopes. I found it quite unsettling at first, my vagina. Sort of like when you see a fish cut open for the first time and you discover this other bloody, complex world inside. It was so raw, so red, so fresh. But what surprised me most were all the layers. Layers inside layers, opening up into yet more layers. My vagina amazed me. I couldn't even speak when it came to my turn in the workshop. I was speechless. I had awakened to what the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop called virginal wonder. I just wanted to lie here on my mat, my legs spread, examining my vagina forever. It was better than the Grand Canyon. Ancient and full of grace. It had all the innocence and freshness of a proper English garden. It was funny, very funny. It made me laugh. It would hide and seek, open and close. And then it momentarily occurred to me that it was part of me. It was my vagina inside of me. Then, the woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked how many women had had orgasms. 2 women tentatively raised their hands. I did not raise my hand, but I'd had orgasms. I did not raise my hand because they were accidental orgasms. They happened to me. They would happen in my dreams, and I would awake in splendor. They happened a lot in water, mostly in the bath, once in Cape Cod. They happened on horses, on bicycles, on the treadmill at the gym. I did not raise my hand because although I had had orgasms, I did not know how to make one happen. I had never tried to make one happen. It seemed so contrived, so manipulative to interfere, to get involved. It felt Hollywood. I thought of it as a mystical, magical thing. The surprise would be gone, and the mystery. The problem was, of course, that the surprise had been gone for nearly 2 years. I hadn't had a magical, mystical orgasm in a very long time, and I was frantic. That's why I was in the Vagina Workshop. And then the moment arrived that I'd both dreaded and secretly longed for. The woman who ran the Vagina Workshop asked us to take out our hand mirrors again and to see if we could locate our clitoris. There we were, a group of us women, on our backs, on our mats, with our hand mirrors, searching around for our clitoris, looking for our spot, our reason, our locus. And I don't know why, but I started crying. Maybe it was sheer embarrassment. But maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy that someone or something was going to do this for me. The fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms. I was used to living off the record in a magical, mystical way. This clitoris finding, this wild workshop on shiny pink mats was making the whole thing real, too real. I could feel the panic coming, the simultaneous terror and the realization that I had avoided finding my clitoris, had rationalized it as mainstream and consumerist because I was, in fact, terrified that I did not have a clitoris, terrified that I was one of those constitutionally incapable, one of those frigid, dead, dry, shut down, apricot tasting, bitter, oh my God. I just kept lying there, reaching with my fingers, trying to find my spot, and all I could think about was the time when I was 10 and I lost my gold ring with the emeralds in the lake. How I kept diving over and over again to the bottom of the lake, running my hands over rocks and stones and fish and bottle caps and slimy things, but never my ring. The panic I felt, I knew that I shouldn't have won in swimming, I knew that I would be punished, I knew that I'd lost it. The woman who ran the Vagina Workshop saw my insane scrambling, sweating, and heavy breathing. She came over. She asked me what was wrong. I told her, "It's gone! I've lost it! I've lost my clitoris! I should never have worn it swimming!" The woman who ran the Vagina Workshop laughed. She calmly stroked my forehead. She told me my clitoris was not something I could lose. It was me, the essence of me. It was both the doorbell to my house and the house itself. I didn't have to find it. I had to be it. Be it. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. Be my clitoris. I lay back down on the mat, I put down my mirror, and I closed my eyes. I watched myself float above myself and begin to re-enter. It was very quiet, this re-entry. Quiet and gentle. I felt like an astronaut re-entering the atmosphere of the Earth. I bounced and landed and bounced. I slid into my own muscles and blood and cells and skin, and then I just slipped into my vagina. It was suddenly easy, and I fit. And then, without looking, with my eyes still closed, I put my finger on what had suddenly become me. I felt a little quivering at first, which urged me to stay. And then the quivering broke open into a quake, and the quake became an eruption that opened up onto an ancient horizon of light and silence, which broke open into a plain of music and light and colors and longing and innocence, and I felt connection, calling connection as I lay here thrashing about on my little pink mat. My vagina is a shell, a tulip, and a destiny. I am arriving as I am beginning to bloom. My vagina, me.